video marketing. We just finished an entire CD about building that content factory in your business and going over how incredibly important it is for you to be creating great content on a regular basis and putting it out there on the internet to generate leads and traffic for your business, and how over time you're only going to benefit more and more and more by the larger amounts of content that you own and that you have that make up part of the internet. Well, we didn't get a chance to go too much into videos and video marketing and video content. It's yet another type of content. You got text, you got audio, and you have video. And video, when it comes to content and especially entertainment, as a format, trumps all the others. And it's no surprise now that there are faster connections on the internet and the internet is evolving that we're seeing more and more video used online. More and more video content is put online. More and more video content is consumed online. And now the trickle-down effect of more and more businesses using video in their marketing. And it's only going to grow in popularity. So as you can imagine, video marketing has a very bright future ahead of it. As connections get faster, as the technology and the hardware and the software makes it cheaper and easier for people to create great video content, we're going to see more and more of it. Well, unless you've been living in a cave, of course, over the last few years, you know about the growth of YouTube and the popularity of YouTube. You probably know about Google's universal search results, where they're now putting these videos in the search results, and how we're going to be seeing more and more of that as more videos are created that have higher relevancy than their text counterparts. We're going to see more videos shown in those search results. So video is definitely the present and the future for the internet for marketing, and it definitely is for traffic generation. Now, there are a lot of different ways that you can use videos in your marketing. You can use it on the conversion side, in the sales process, in kind of the relationship building side, and so on and so forth. But since this course is about generating traffic, we're going to be focusing on creating videos and using videos to generate traffic. There are a number of different types of videos that you can create and that people are creating. You know, kind of a commentary type of video where someone's just looking into a webcam and talking about, you know, a certain topic. There's, you know, people doing product reviews or, you know, kind of site reviews and those types of things. Kind of the fly on the wall, here's some about my life that I'd like to share with you type of videos. And this is what marketers are using, not just people specifically creating videos, how it's being used for marketing and how you can use this stuff for marketing. So it's like, you know, a lot of it's personal stuff where someone will say, hey, you know, here I'm sitting at home, I just wanted to show you my new office. And they give you the little video tour of the office and it's really great. And so on and so forth. But to generate traffic, we really need to have a solid strategy, because not all video types that I just mentioned, not all of those work well to generate traffic. And when we say generate traffic, the ultimate goal is to get traffic to our website, right? That's why we're doing all this. It's not necessarily to get video views over on YouTube site or on any other video hosting site. The goal is to get traffic to our website. And then, of course, to hopefully get some of those visitors to kind of join some of our communication channels that we're really going to go over when we get into social strategy, as far as allowing us to have permission to send them email at any time and allowing us to be able to push our blog content through RSS feeds and allowing us to communicate with them on a social network that we're friends with them on, such as like Facebook or MySpace or any of these other ones, and allowing us to maybe send them Twitter messages that they're seeing because they're following us, so on and so forth. So, and of course, to get them to our site and get them to look at our stuff and hopefully buy from us or do something that makes us money. So the goal is to get traffic. Well, if that's the strategy, to get the traffic to our site, then we need to have a good strategy to do that. And one of the things you need to really keep in mind is that not all videos and video types, like the ones I mentioned as examples of different types of videos that people make, are ideal for generating traffic. If you think about what's the best kind of video that if someone stumbled upon out there on the internet that would make someone want to go to someone's website, what would that be? Would it be just somebody kind of giving their opinion about something? Maybe. But in most cases, if they were really controversial or really over the top passionate about a subject matter, or really, really knowledgeable about something where we wanted to hear more of their opinion. Otherwise, it would just kind of gets drowned in the noise of all the other stuff that's on the internet. People doing similar things, giving comments and saying similar, giving different types of reviews about things or giving commentary. So if you really think about it, and if we really analyze it, the type of content that would most likely get people to be interested in us and wanting to consume more information from us would be some kind of beneficial how-to information. We've already kind of covered this a little bit in the content factory process of creating those articles and special reports and blog posts and the other types of content. But we have to really think about that as well for using videos to generate traffic. Now, with other types of content, a lot of times it doesn't matter in many cases if we kind of use a little bit broader scope of content that we put out there on the internet to try to generate traffic from. But it's typically the same type of focus like we've already talked about. The how-to value type of stuff is what prospects will appreciate the most and what they'll want more of. So with that being said, your focus on creating videos and using them to generate traffic really needs to be around how-to information, if at all possible, for your market, teaching someone how to do something. And then, of course, if you can highlight your product in the video as the solution, or if you can use what I've already mentioned, my friend Jimmy D. Brown's great philosophy and strategy of useful but incomplete. If you can create some kind of tutorial type of teaching content that's really good, but it's just not complete, that can drive them to your site to get more information or to get that solution, then that's what we need to do. That's the ultimate strategy here. So the CD is going to talk a lot about that. It's not going to talk a lot about, just doing kind of share my life relationship building types of videos that you can and should be making in your marketing. Those types of things serve their purpose to improve a relationship with prospects and a lot of other things. And we're really going to get into more of that in social strategy. But for now, we're going to focus on generating as much traffic as we can from the use of video. So there are many places to distribute video, and we're going to talk about those on this CD and in this group of lessons. We also have to consider the 80-20 rule, or in this case, the 99-1 rule, when it comes to traffic from videos themselves. And that's because YouTube is by far the dominant video player in that market. They're the dominant site for video and video traffic. I think it was something like 20 or 30% or 18%. It's a very high number, the last statistic I saw about the percentage of video on the entire internet that's watched from YouTube. It's like 18 or 20%, I think, is what it is of the entire internet, which is just mind-boggling. That's just a lot of attention and views that are being done through that site or through the hosting of videos on that site, in the case of videos being embedded on other pages through YouTube. But we got to keep that in mind. So a lot of what I'm going to be showing you on this CD and talking about optimization for tweaking your titles and descriptions and how to set up things so people find them in the search engines as well as when they search YouTube itself. A lot of what I'm going to be showing you as examples is going to be on YouTube because that's where you need to focus most of your efforts. However, we're going to get into some of these other places in the resources section for the CD. You'll find tons of other video sites that you can distribute your videos to. And there are some tools and services out there that can automate the distribution of your videos to those other services. And, I'm always under the impression, or at least I'm always under the kind of attitude or approach that if it doesn't take a lot of your time or expense, then why not distribute content or do things that can put it in many, many places, even if some of these other places get very, very, few views or little traffic at all. It doesn't cost you anything to do it, and somebody may stumble upon it one day, and that could become a valuable customer. So again, if it doesn't take much time, there's not much more to the process than what you're already kind of doing as a workflow for what you're doing for your marketing, why not do it as well? So we're going to talk about those other places, and some of those can bring you some pretty decent traffic. Some of them won't bring you much traffic at all. But again, if you can automate the process of submitting your videos to, all these other services pretty easily, it's worth just doing if you can do it with the technology. And there's technology available to do that. So there are many places to distribute video. It's not just about YouTube. And if you get serious about creating solid content, which you should, and if you see a need, one of your action exercises is really going to be to brainstorm different types of videos that make sense for your market. And since most markets can deal with news announcements, some types of how-to information, and any type of information, period, just like we covered and went over just creating general content for any market, then there will be some similar opportunities for video. But you may find that there are some fantastic opportunities for video, in fact, where if you could create video content for certain things that you want to create and get out there to create that footprint to drive traffic to your site, that it would work better than articles or some other kind of descriptive text. In other words, if you're involved in a market that's very visual, let's say like a hobby market, or some type of market where you're selling solutions or at least the ingredients to a solution that helps people build things, let's say, and you can create videos showing people how to build things, that's clearly more valuable to a prospect than just kind of reading an article about how to build something. So you need to brainstorm that. That's going to be one of your action steps for your video marketing process and the part of the whole master plan, which you're going to learn in the very last CD of this course. You need to brainstorm that and think about, is there anything very visual that has to do with my market and my prospects that they would love to see, certain videos on X or how to do X. And so, no, I didn't say XXX. Of course, porn is very popular online. But how to do a certain thing, like how to build something or to learn about something. So think about that. What would make for some great ideal videos for my market, if there are any? Video quality does matter. One of the fallacies of marketing with video, and what a lot of people kind of have been saying or like to say, is that, it doesn't really matter what your video looks like. It's the content that people are just interested in. It's the information. Well, while this is true, I agree and I disagree. Of course, the content, of course, the ultimate message is what really matters to the prospect. But it's a lot like graphics. 8 to 10 years ago, you could put up an ugly website that had some ugly graphics, and you could still do really well with ugly marketing. You've probably heard other marketers even talk about this before, how ugly sites can still make money and how they work just as well. And, the internet's evolving. People are getting more and more accustomed to nice-looking design, really good-looking interfaces and graphics. I mean, just look at Apple as a company. They spend a lot of time on their design. That's why they're successful. Their product design, their stuff just looks cool, and it's just appealing to the eye. If you've ever used a Mac itself or you have one, reason why they're doing so well and putting a hurting on Microsoft is because their icons and their interfaces and everything is just great on the eyes, and it's just pleasant to look at. Well, this bodes well in all areas of marketing that have to do with good design. That is the same type of correlation. That will work well if you have good design for anything. So having professional, good quality design on a website can establish a good first impression, can put a prospect in a certain mindset and a certain mood to make them more receptive to doing business with you than if you had amateurish looking website design or something that just didn't look very good and attractive. It's true. Things that are more attractive have more success when it comes to design and graphics and marketing and everything else. I mean, there's a reason when companies do commercials and product placement and everything else, they use attractive spokespeople, attractive models, and not a bunch of funny-looking ugly people. It's because it's just how it is, human psychology and how attractiveness affects us. Well, video quality is the same way. That's the point I'm trying to get to. Good-looking video, more on the professional quality level. It doesn't have to be some huge, multi-million dollar production or anything with crazy graphics and all kinds of things. But the better it looks, the more professional it looks, the better it's going to be for you. So why not try your best to make some high-quality looking video? And in the resources section, you're going to find links to all kinds of software and recommended hardware and other things for you to create good-looking video from. Most of the webcams, especially ones built into laptops, like if you have a MacBook, the camera that's in there, they've gotten to the point now where they're so good, the quality is pretty good now to create decent video with them. So it's possible to create some decent-looking video with just that built-in webcam in the computer, or even some $100 webcams that you can just buy at like CompUSA or any other one of these computer stores, and Best Buy, things like that, or order them online. But there is a difference with, a $500 video camera that you can buy and the quality difference that it will make. And you'll also find some resources in the resources section for the CD about tricks for creating good-looking YouTube videos, for example. As you notice, when you use YouTube, sometimes you'll see really bad quality videos where it's all pixelated and it's not very clear. And then you'll see real sharp, high-quality, strong images, not HD, but pretty good-looking video. And there's a trick to actually getting that high-quality look out of a YouTube video, because YouTube videos are converted when you upload them. And so it could be the same video, but it's just treated a little bit differently before it's uploaded to YouTube, and it comes out looking better. So when I say quality of the video, I don't necessarily mean the resolution, like the sharpness, like it's like high definition or anything. I kind of do, and that does have kind of a reference to it. But really, when I'm saying high quality video, I mean what's on the video. What's the setup? What are people seeing? Is it just, someone sitting there at their desk, like on a webcam, with the bookshelf behind them, just talking about some things? Or is it someone, that's doing kind of a virtual set type thing that actually doesn't look very good because you can tell it's fake? A lot of times that looks, I've seen people do that. It's just kind of crappy, and it's kind of a turnoff. It's like, ooh, that doesn't look very good. Or is it someone that's using good lighting? Good lighting is the key to good video. It's just like photography, and that's really what video is. It's just 30 frames of 30 still images together every second that makes moving pictures, and what makes video and film. And so it's no surprise that to get good video images, you need good lighting. Just like if you know anything about photography, the key to good photos is good light. And so there are little light kits you can buy for a few $100s and a few tricks you can do. Again, we have links in the resources section for you. But just putting up better lighting, even if it's you sitting there in front of the computer with the camera on you and your bookshelf behind you, if you have good lighting, you can make that look 10 times better than someone else that's doing it that has bad lighting in their office where they're shooting that video. So video quality matters, and there are some very low-cost tools you can use that you'll find linked in the resources section to add some little title bars and things like that, like when you start talking and, you can have your name come up on what they call lower third, which you see on the news when someone's interviewed and their name comes up on a little lower strip. You can do little things like that, add music and do some other things, kind of fade in music at the beginning, fade out music at the end, to really just add to the video production quality of it. And if you do this, it just makes you seem more professional, and it really will do a lot for your company image, and ultimately to generate more traffic, which is what our goal is here. All things considered equal, the same content message against the same content message, the better looking, more professional video will outperform it in response, will have a greater response and outperform that lower quality video practically every single time. So keep that in mind, that quality does matter. Another benefit of video is you can put in the time and create a video of some sort and then have it transcribed, where someone listens to the audio, and you can, of course, do this with audio too. Someone listens to the video audio and transcribes into the exact text of what is said on the video, and then you can use that. You'll probably want to edit it up a little bit and change it up so it doesn't read just like somebody was saying it, and you can use that as a blog post many times, or as an article, or in other places online where you're going to use content. So it kind of has a double use. Video is the video itself, And what's on the video transcribed can become text that you can also use to generate traffic. So video is very, very important and very, very valuable. And in this CD, we're going to talk about a bunch of different ways that you need to be thinking about. And when we get to the master plan last CD, you're going to see how this will come together with some specific step-by-step actions that you'll need to be taking if you're creating video. And of course, I want you to be creating video to generate traffic. So if you're not creating video yet, or you're scared of video, either you don't want to appear on video. Let me just address that real quick. If you don't want to appear on video, you don't have to. There are a few different ways, and I'll show you some of those examples where you can have videos that don't have anyone on them. It's just like a PowerPoint presentation, almost like this, like you're watching now. This is technically video. You're seeing something and you're listening at the same time, yet this presentation itself doesn't have anyone on camera. It's a type of video. And so you can create little PowerPoint types of, I call it poor man's video, when you use Camtasia and PowerPoint, or like I show you in PowerPoint, if you're using a Mac, and you create basically a video of you giving a presentation and showing slides, pictures, just text bullets like this, and talking over it. And that can certainly be used on YouTube and different sites to generate traffic. So if for some reason you don't want to appear on video, you're just camera shy, or you just don't want to, or you just want your privacy, whatever, it's okay. There are several videos you can make and get lots of traffic with different formats where no one's on camera like I just described. Or your other option is you can always hire someone. You can always pay someone part-time, or $100 per video, or $50 per video. You can hire someone locally just to come and read a script. An attractive woman works really well. Not to sound sexist or anything, but many companies have found that having an attractive woman in their videos works really well in response and in viewership. And obviously, it's obvious with all the geeks online, especially if you do something online that like attractive women. And so that's something to consider. Or, of course, you can hire a well-spoken man that can do a good job of reading your transcript as well, just like a woman can, and use them. So look in the resources section. You'll find a lot of different resources for making videos, software, hardware, setups as light, cameras, all that good stuff, and some suggestions for you for different types of videos and hiring people and all that kind of good stuff. So video marketing is very powerful, and we're going to talk all about on this CD how to use it to generate traffic, because that's what this is all about. The last thing I want you to think about is that you don't want to always use free hosting. You don't want to always use free hosting. Now, why is that? Well, it's simple. And let me just say, so many marketers are doing this wrong. A lot of people that are using video online to generate traffic and for their marketing, like, put everything on YouTube. They put every single thing on YouTube. If they just turn the camera on to show their daughter's picture that she drew at school, just to kind of share some of their lives, which is good stuff to do, to be transparent and to just let people know more about you, the person. Sometimes that's really good for relationship building. We've already been talking about that a bit. But they'll put that on YouTube. And so that falls under the same account with some of the good how-to videos and some of the other information. And it can actually work against you if your strategy is to generate traffic to your site. So if someone's using YouTube and they find one of your great how-to videos, which this CD is all about getting you to create, that can get people to go over to your site to learn more or to see what you have to offer, et cetera, et cetera. And if they, oftentimes what people do, and we'll explain this as we get more to YouTube and these other sites, is when someone likes a video, the natural thing is, I wonder what other videos this person has. And so they'll look at your other videos. Well, if you're putting this personal type stuff on there that's not your best material on the same account with YouTube, it's easily found, and they'll say, oh, what's this? And they'll play it. And a lot of times those personal things can actually work against you in generating traffic, because the prospect isn't ready for that step in the process of building the relationship. They don't know you. They don't know anything about your company yet, or very little. And so showing them your daughter and showing, your home office, they don't even know what's in it for them to listen to you yet. So that's one reason not to put a lot of these other videos, at least on the same account on YouTube. But the other reason for not using YouTube to host everything is the fact that when you embed the videos on your own pages, if you do that, you know how YouTube works, or you should, that anyone can click the video and it loads the same page with the video on YouTube itself. That's how YouTube got big, from that viral nature of people embedding the videos on other web pages. They're always able to click the video. Most people do just out of curiosity, and it opens up YouTube where they can then find other YouTube videos and also get distracted and away from your video and end up watching other things. That's not what you want when you're trying to bring someone into your marketing process and really communicate to them and fight for their attention. You don't want to distract them with all these other funny videos and these other videos. You know, it's like channel surfing on TV. If you take away the remote and force someone to sit there and watch your TV program, it's going to be a lot more effective than if they can just flip through the channel and just, you know, leave and decide, oh, I may come back later and watch that. So you have to have that mentality when you're hosting videos, like, for example, with YouTube. I would personally, in almost every case, would never host a video on YouTube and then show it on one of my own controlled web pages by embedding the code from YouTube. Now, there are some exceptions to this rule. If there are some circumstances, like on a blog or some other things, where if you do testing and you find that if you embed the video, you get more people to watch it, then that's an exception that you'd want to consider making. Because number of views, and we're going to talk about this more in the CD, number of views is part of the algorithm on YouTube for which videos get ranked higher when people search for things or search by category. So if you could embed the video and get more views, then that's something you'd want to consider. But in almost every case, if you're talking about a video, you could show, you know, if you're determined to have people watch that video on YouTube to get those views up, then you can put a still shot, for example, of that video, you know, on a page, and when they click it, it goes over to YouTube. They can watch it. Or you could use a link, text link that just goes over to the video. It's a fine line. If you're putting out some content that you're just using to kind of bait some traffic from YouTube, using it as like a traffic generation magnet of sorts, then you need to weigh the pros and cons. But the cons are simple. If you're putting out some free video content, some great content that you want to share with your audience, like on your blog, for example, you really don't want people to be able to click on it and end up on YouTube and leaving your blog and getting away from whatever message you're in the middle of. Just like, for example, if someone's on your sales page and you're using videos for testimonials or in the sales process, you don't want people to be able to click on those and end up on YouTube and get away from your sales message. You're just going to really hurt your sales conversion. So again, there's a time and place for using free hosted videos on some of these services, and there's a time and place for hosting it yourself, where you control what the player looks like. You control the fact that where if people click on the video, where they end up going, and you're just in control. And I'm going to talk about some resources for that on the CD, like Amazon's great S3 service, which we currently use at Income.com for a lot of our video use. And you should consider doing it too. And a lot of marketers are also doing it, where it's pretty inexpensive. You still have to pay for the bandwidth, but it's like, 18 cents for every gigabyte transferred. And of course, if you have a video that's 100 megabytes, then you can have 10 full views of that to make up a gigabyte. And if you do the math, the cost to you is like less than 2 cents for every person that views the video. Now, sure, if you had thousands of people viewing it, you'd much rather have that free and, not have to pay for it. But if you're going to have thousands of people viewing it, it's worth controlling it if you don't want people, for example, to leave like that sales page or anything else. There's far more at stake than the small pennies that it's going to take just for you to pay for serving it. So just want to throw that out there in this opening presentation to get you in the mindset about video marketing for traffic generation and just for conversion and making money. You don't always want to use free hosting, and it's a big mistake a lot of marketers make. A lot of marketers just use YouTube for everything. and they just think, well, that's just the way I should do it, without regard to strategy. And that's typically the difference between very successful players in a market and so successful players, and that's good strategy. And what I'm trying to teach you and share with you throughout this entire course and the methodology of Traffic Secrets 2.0 here is what I believe is a solid strategy. I'm a strategist. That's just the way I am. I believe I'm very blessed to have been born with that gift, a strategic mind, and so I'm all about strategy. That's how I think of connecting the dots, in what order, how things work together, what makes for the best use of things, what's the most effective, so on and so forth. And this applies to video in many ways. The free hosting is a big one, so you don't want to host everything on YouTube. There are always reasons for you to host videos yourself, like through Amazon service, which I'll go over with you, or you can use some of these other providers that are linked in the resources section. So if you don't want people leaving your site, you don't want to be using the free hosting. If you're going to try to get traffic from something, then you want to use all these different free video services that we're going to go over. So let's get ready to talk all about how to use videos for traffic generation.